Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The European Commission, meeting in Strasbourg, has been debating the state of the rule of law in Poland. The Commission has requested the suspension of the disciplinary chamber of the Supreme Court. It seems that under the new president, Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission is continuing the policy of interference in lawmaking in Poland, which had been championed by the former Commission Vice President, Frans Timmermans.
Von der Leyen said that the most important thing for the European Commission is to engage in dialogue with representatives of the Polish judicial system and the Polish government. On October 10th, the European Commission announced its decision to file a complaint to the Court of Justice of the European Union regarding the disciplinary system of judges in Poland, in order to protect judges from political control. As she explained, the new system of the disciplinary centers does not ensure the independence and impartiality of the disciplinary chamber of the Supreme Court, which comprises judges chosen by the National Council of Judiciary, which is itself elected by the same, in a procedure that is of a political character. On Thursday, the European Parliament is to adopt a resolution calling on the European Commission to find a reason to justify the European Court of Justice suspending the action of the new disciplinary chamber of the Supreme Court.
The Polish Senate held consultations on the amendment to the law governing common courts. These were organised under the auspices of the Speaker of the Senate, Tomasz Grodzki. It seems, however, that the event was more to an exercise in politics rather than a substantive debate aimed at better lawmaking.
The debate in the Senate building with the Parliamentary Rule of Law Defense Team, according to its initiators, deputies and senators of the Civic Platform Party, is an attempt at the public consultations which were lacking when the proposed bill was discussed in the lower chamber of Parliament the same. We reminded the public that the muzzle bill which we discussed today brings bad associations to Poles, associations with stupidity and with gross brutality. It is because the name of the bill associates it with the time of terror of 1908, when the German parliament adopted a muzzle law. The debate today was attended by lawyers, constitutionalists, representatives of social organizations and the first president of the Supreme Court, Małgorzata Gersdorf.
In Poland, such laws are being processed at present. That means in a moment the judges will not have the right to speak.
Małgorzata Gersdorf also referred to a possible Commission proposal to the EU Court to stop the proceedings and to temporarily suspend the activities of the Supreme Court Disciplinary Board.
In fact, I hope that might change the way they see it, and they might stop the authorities from causing such destruction.
Speaker of the Senate Tomasz Grodzki will meet President Andrzej Duda tomorrow at 4 p.m. for a private face-to-face discussion of the amendment bill on the judiciary, because this is where ultimately the draft of the bill will go for the president's signature. The Senate might reject the bill, and if they do, its fate is decided by the same in a final vote, and here the Law and Justice Party has a majority. In December, the Sejm adopted amendments to the court laws, the most controversial being the provision on the possible disciplinary liability of judges for acts or omissions that prevent or impede the functioning of the judiciary, including questioning the appointment of a judge and public activities incompatible with the principles of the independence of courts and judges.
Judge Barbara Pivnik, a former Minister of Justice, has criticised judges who took to the streets on Saturday to protest against legal reform. Speaking on Polish Radio 24, she said that in the interests of their authority and the independence of their profession, judges should not engage in current political disputes.
Nowadays, in today's way of functioning and informing the society, judges can and should be present, but their presence has to be shown by educating and explaining the law. They should inform society about the law and other matters that should be taken into account by the authorities. But judges cannot fight with other authorities, because the term of office of the representatives of the legislative and the executive is going to end eventually, and we choose new representatives during elections. Being a judge is a lifetime position. They have to fulfill their function regardless of a change of representatives of the legislative and the executive. Judges should be a rock. Society has to know that they can count on the help of judges, even in a situation where they were treated unfairly by the authorities.
Stanisław Kogut, a former senator of the Law and Justice Party, his son, and the chief of the Kraków division of the State Fund for the Rehabilitation of Disabled, were detained today by the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau on charges of corruption.
The arrests are connected with the investigation of multi-million zloty bribes led by the officers of the Krakow division of the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau, or CBA. So far, 24 have been charged in the matter. It's another stage of the investigation of municipal governments of the Lesser Poland province. The senator and his son will be charged with accepting multi-million zloty bribes, while the chief of the State Fund for the Disabled will face charges regarding the awarding of contracts for the foundation. The detained persons will be taken to the regional prosecutor in Katowice, where they will formally hear the charges. According to the officers of the CBA, Stanisław K. influenced the decision to dismiss the administrative procedures regarding including the buildings of the old Hotel Cracovia and Kijów Cinema on the list of protected monuments. For this, he allegedly accepted a bribe of 1 million zloty. The money was supposedly transferred as a donation to the foundation helping the disabled, where K was CEO. If there are any doubts or signs that the law was broken, then whoever's involved, even if it concerns someone from our party, the procedures are the same. I prefer not to comment on the charges themselves. I leave that for the judge and the court. Stanisław K. ran unsuccessfully for the senator's seat in the recent parliamentary elections. His term expired in November last year.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.